Hey everyone, you are listening to Beyond the Ring podcast. I am Tejas and this is the SmackDown and AEW Rampage review. And guys, before we get into this review, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more wrestling reviews like this. And do let me know your thoughts on both the shows, both SmackDown and Rampage in the comment section below, guys. So let's get into this review then. So we first kick it off with SmackDown show review. SmackDown, it was a big night for them because it was a night one draft for of the SmackDown, and we actually began with explanation by Cole that the brand split rules would be reflected and be coming into effect on October 22nd, which is after Crown Jewel pay-per-view. So that's a pretty workaround that they did. So yeah, probably if they have some kind of matches that they wanted to do in SmackDown and Raw, they could do it in some 2 to 3 weeks. Yeah, so the round one draft begins, and the first pick for SmackDown, this was for me was a no-brainer because no way I saw that Roman Reigns was going to Monday Night Raw. I didn't think that Fox would allow that, and this was the first pick, Roman Reigns to SmackDown. Big E to Raw. The second pick was for Monday Night Raw, Big E. So that was obvious. And third one was kind of shocking, Charlotte Flair to SmackDown, which I didn't kind of expected because I was going like Bianca Belair is not on the right spot onto SmackDown roster. So maybe she could get the new fresh kind of the title. Against Charlotte Flair, facing Charlotte Flair would be great, and yeah, that would be amazing, fantastic match if you think so, because both of them are like in the top babyface and top heel for both of them. So that would have been awesome. But I don't know what they did. But again, if they can work around this match in any of the episode of Raw or SmackDown, yeah, if they can do it, that would be it would be a treat to watch actually. So we began with the Roman Reigns segment. Roman Reigns came out and he actually kind of Paul Heyman actually took around, and then he spoke about how the Demon is not undefeated right now, and then they get to Lesnar stuff. Brock Lesnar comes out, and Brock Lesnar demolishes Roman Reigns, and that was fun to watch. A great opening. I think so. The opening was the 15-20 minutes of the show was really good. And yeah, the hype up they created to the draft and all that was great actually. And then Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso came up to ran to help, but Roman Reigns kind of run away from the ring, and he Usos took the F5, and that was the thing, and that was a great segment, I think so. And we get to the first match, the first in-ring match. Finally, Happy Corbin versus Kevin Owens. This was I mean, Happy Corbin is just kind of having a lackey called Madcap Moss, whose real name is Riddick Moss. When I read this name, I was like, is this mid-cap or they misspelled it like madcap? Yeah. Again, this match was nothing but yeah. Happy Corbin got the victory. Kevin Owens don't deserve this, man. I think he should be drafted to Monday Night Raw. I think so. Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, those two are the picks that I'm kind of wanted to like. Man, they should go to, yeah. uh, let's see, I mean, how they could how it will happen. But the most I wanted to see is Kevin Owens and AJ Styles onto Monday Night Raw scene. Yeah, so we get to the round two of the draft. Drew McIntyre to SmackDown, so that was obvious kind of. Yeah, that's great pick. And Randy Orton Riddle to Raw, so this is also very obvious. They're the Raw Tag Team Champion. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods to SmackDown. This was kind of surprising because after they did the whole reunion thing, and then they kind of split up again. So it was they were already split up. They showed the angle last year. Kind of they were sad become Big E to SmackDown. Then they were on the Raw. So it's is it the idea of WWE that they wanted to turn heel Big E in the future? So I think so. That's the work that they did here. Maybe, yeah, maybe not turning on their friends, but separating on the bands. They could do that. Yeah, that's a great opportunity for them. But this wasn't a time to do this. Yeah, because I mean, I was. Fans were expecting, I mean, even me was expecting the bloodline, I mean, the Hurt Business versus the New Day. That could have been a great feud, great rivalry for months. So let's see how it goes, man. I mean, let's see if Hurt Business actually, the Bobby Lashley goes to SmackDown. I don't know. Let's see, man. Till now, Charlotte Flair and the Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods was shocking for me. And then we get to the Drew McIntyre segment. Drew McIntyre cut a promo. He's aiming for the Universal Champion Roman Reigns. So that was good. That was good. And then we get to the Edge part, Edge storyline. Edge made his entrance. So Edge was going to be on the SmackDown, and he kind of accepts all the Seth Rollins has said. And but Seth Rollins says that he isn't expecting that he isn't accepting that he's an Edge light. So and then they pans around the camera, and then he was in the home, and he actually enjoys him into the room. And then Edge got panicked, and he called his friends. I didn't know who he was calling. It was David and something. So when I scroll on the Twitter, they were like they were FTR, the current I mean the AW superstars, FTR, Dax Hardwood and Cash Wheeler. So yeah, so that was a great put over segment, I would say. And this rivalry is going great, and they would have a great send off match. And finally we get to the and I actually missed this. And Edge was going to Monday Night Raw before this segment. So Edge also said that he's going to Monday Night Raw. So it's a lot of great challenges and great opponents that he could face there. He said that. And then we get to the I mean the Carmella segment. Carmella Liv Morgan had a nice kind of a brawl in the ring, man. Just there. And we get to the round three of the draft. Then the important ones, Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss is on SmackDown. So I kind of predicted that maybe Happy Corbin could be going to Raw, but no, they are going to remain on SmackDown. Women's Tag Team Champions Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH to Raw. Imagine Rhea Ripley actually not in a tag team. Could have been a great draft for both Raw or SmackDown. Yeah, man. I mean, yeah. So this is a tag team, so they are doing this. So they are staying in Monday Night Raw. Hit Row from NXT, the first ever call up from NXT this year. Hit Row, Isaiah Scott, Top Dollar, B-Fab, and Ashante Adonis to SmackDown. So that's great. I mean, I was expecting to Monday Night Raw, but they came to SmackDown, so that's a good friend. I mean, yeah, Hit Row is always great addition. Yeah, Keith Bearcat Lee to Monday Night Raw. So okay, I mean Keith Lee was never a big star. They yeah, I mean he didn't got anything well till now for years now. So yeah. Then we get to the second match: Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins versus Otis, Chad Gable, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler in an 8-man tag team match. Fun tag team match. Yeah, WWE style match. Nothing very new or something. Woods pinned Roode, and that was it. So kind of a comeback match. I mean, yeah, kind of a return match for Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods to SmackDown. Yeah, and we get to the round four of the final round of SmackDown, and they said that the half of the roster would be drafted this in SmackDown, half of them would be in Monday Night Raw. So round four, Naomi to SmackDown. So they kind of. And I knew, I mean, so they will kind of tease their rivalry. So she wasn't interested. So that's a good moment to their rivalry that's going on, and I'm very interested to see that. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio to Raw. So this was also not very surprising. I thought they could have moved. They could have been moved to Monday Night Raw, or either stayed to SmackDown as well. So they could do their the father son rivalry if they going to split up in Monday Night Raw as well. So Jeff Hardy to SmackDown. This was a great, awesome pick by SmackDown. I thought about that. Jeff Hardy should come to SmackDown. That was very needed. And Austin Theory to Monday Night Raw. So that was also good. And then we had a Jeff Hardy segment, backstage segment. He was kind of getting to talk how he's feeling about, but Brock Lesnar comes up. Jeff Hardy says, I'm going, kind of. So kind of a brief kind of tease there. So they maybe Jeff Hardy versus Brock Lesnar, that could be a great underdog match, man. Let's just imagine that. I'm very excited if they could do that kind of for a championship in a triple threat environment, or any in any manner. That could be amazing, man. And I'm very excited for that, this whole situation. And Brock Lesnar said that when he was aligned to Paul Heyman. She was from the beginning that he was a free agent, so that makes it that he's not going to draft it to SmackDown or Raw. He's going to kind of juggle around either to Raw, either to SmackDown. So that was there, and yeah. So the show was going good. I mean, the whole draft was the point here, so that's kind of made the show better. The in-ring stuff was very less here, so yeah. But we had a great main event that was going getting into, and we get the Roman Reigns segment where Heyman was crying, man. I mean, he's in a very difficult position right now, and he's like, the long story short, Roman Reigns said that to him and that you should go to Monday Night Raw and uh, im- uh, like. Uh, make Usos get drafted to SmackDown, not go to Monday Night Raw, and then Heyman leaves, and then they says Usos that if he doesn't make it around, you should end him, leave him to death. That's the sentence he said. So maybe we could get Brock Lesnar having coming out. I mean, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman reunion. That could be fantastic. That's a very obvious story. That's a story that should be around. But they could continue Paul Heyman to Roman Reigns as well. But yeah, for the story part of it, Paul Heyman betraying Roman Reigns could be good, but that could turn face for him. But yeah, there's Usos as well. Let's see. There's a lot of plans floating around, like if Usos may be going to Monday Night Raw, and then a New Day, Roman Reigns would force the network, and then New Day would go to Monday Night Raw. Usos would be getting smacked. That would be kind of interesting as well. That's the plans kind of swirling around. That's I'm reading about. So that would be great as well. It's pretty interesting right now. The whole Reigns, Brock Lesnar, the Usos situation. So that's pretty much the main storyline. That's very interesting. We get to the main event: Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. This was really good, really great actually, and they worked out very well match. But in the end, we had Becky Lynch on the commentary, and Becky Lynch is gold, like just like Bailey actually. She was taking shots on Michael Cole, so that was good. And yeah, in the ending of the match, we saw Lynch actually grabbed Bianca Belair's braid. Banks rolled up. So I thought about that. We are not going to see a clean finish into this. Maybe Bianca Belair or yeah, kind of a brawl situation, and that was Lynch released braid, and then Banks got the 3 count roll up. Sasha Banks got the victory here. So maybe we are moving around to Sasha Banks as Becky Lynch, but no, man. Sasha Banks was hit by Charlotte Flair. So all the more interesting situation again. I mean, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. So one more horsewoman is all remaining actually. This is very interesting, and they closed the show very well. I enjoyed it actually. They actually how they closed the show, and both of them actually were holding the belts, while Becky Lynch was standing on to the commentary desk, and she was holding the belt, while Charlotte Flair was holding the belt in the ring, and she attacked Sasha Banks. So that could create a match as well. I don't know how it would be, but they are going to create a great, awesome, I mean, fantastic match for the Survivor Series. That would be a treat to watch. Maybe Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, or maybe Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. That's I see actually. And Becky Lynch is kind of into a face, I would say, more fan supportive, because how they actually did it in the Extreme Rules. So that was SmackDown, guys. I enjoyed it. The whole draft was the point. In-ring stuff was very less, so that was kind of a bummer in this episode. A really good episode, I would say. The night one draft was good. The only surprising pick, the 2 picks were Charlotte Flair and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. So let's now focus upon to the AEW Rampage, and this was from Rochester, from Bo Riley's hometown, and we first kick it off with a great match: Bryan Danielson versus Nick Jackson. This was very fun, man. Nick Jackson is a tag team wrestler. Bryan Danielson is such a technically so sound, and he showed his all skills into this match, and very well against Nick Jackson. The joint manipulation and the wrestling that Bryan Danielson did, it was very fantastic. I thought about this was a very great match. I really loved this match, and this match did get a lot of time as well. I enjoyed this, and this had they they had an opportunity for Nick Jackson as a singles wrestler. Maybe in the future, if they have a turning point for Matt versus Nick in the rivalry, maybe in the future ahead, so that they actually I thought about Nick Jackson hanged around well with Bryan Danielson, and yeah, the shenanigans was also very not high. I think so. So that made this match a very good watch and enjoyed this match. Yeah, really a great match. I think so. And this was 15 minutes, and the 15 minutes was just gold. And yeah. So Danielson got the victory, so kind of obvious by a cattle mutilation. So that was great, and yeah. So we get to the CM Punk, then CM Punk segment where he's kind of getting into the new rivalry. So he didn't tease what he was getting into, but he just said that he's targeting all over, and he's target on his back as well. He says so. He didn't clear up nothing as well. Just yeah, probably I think that Team Taz rivalry is over. That wasn't a very great. That was just a average kind of rivalry. I thought about after Darby Allin getting that victory on him. It was kind of a downgrade for CM Punk. I thought about, but again we get to the next match: Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, triple threat, three-way match. You can say that as well in AEW's language. And this was a fun watch, I would say. Good match. I thought that Thunder Rosa didn't actually had chemistry with Nyla Rose, Jade Cargill, because these two, Cargill and Rose, are two big wrestlers, and Rosa is not very. Didn't match up very well with the wrestler, but it was a fun watch, I would say. Yeah, but there was action going on, and the spots were there, especially the can spot, the trash can spot, and the table spot. Yeah, that was good as well. And yeah, Thunder Rosa putting on Nyla Rose into the table. So yeah, it was a bit off at times, but it was good. Okay, it didn't go much long. So Jade Cargill defeated Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose. So it's a good decision. They could have done one thing in this, which I expected was Jade Cargill and Nyla Rose kind of pounding Thunder Rosa, kind of having sympathy on Thunder Rosa, because this is the match people are excited about it. Thunder Rosa, this is Britt Baker. This is a match that fans want to see, and Thunder Rosa is going to be one who is going to take the title that fans expect. So maybe they could have done this, but they didn't do that much. And but anyways, it was a good match. Nothing very great or something. Yeah. Yeah. Orange Cassidy versus Jack Evans, hair versus hair versus. This is the main event, fun main event. I enjoyed it. This is fun. This was this. I would say that this had a more of a fun element than a straight up kind of a serious kind of wrestling. So yeah, so this was fun watch, and Jack Evans proved that he's got skills, man, and he had a lot of maneuvers that was good to see. And yeah, so they gave an opportunity for Jack Evans, so that was good. And Orange Cassidy obviously got the victory via, and there are fair amount of help from Matt Hardy, HFO, but that didn't go away for Jack Evans. Orange Cassidy got the victory via hitting the orange perch, and that was enough for the win. And in the ending, we saw Dark Order coming up, kind of trying to save Jack Evans, but HFO kind of retreated, and they then cut the hair. All of them comes, and then Brody Lee son also come up, and they kind of have a good moment, kind of a good finish that they had. So they finished off the show very well. I thought that this was a good show. The only match that stand out in this week's Rampage show was the Bryan Danielson versus Nick Jackson. Don't miss this match. This was a really great match, I thought about. And the SmackDown show was also a good show revolving around the draft. So yeah, that's continuing to Monday Night Raw as well. And Goldberg is also coming to Raw as well. We got an announcement in SmackDown show. So that's it, guys. I hope you liked my review, both of the shows. Tell me your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below on both Rampage and SmackDown in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, be safe, stay energetic, and peace.